Welcome to English with Pete and Rebecca, the podcast that takes you through B1 and B2 plus, helps you with any of your English studies.
Hello everybody, this is Rebecca.
And this is Pete. Or, as someone said to me the other day, you say, that's Rebecca, and you say, that's Pete.
That's Pete, yes. And this
Why are you pointing at me?
I don't know. This is English with Pete and Rebecca.
It is, not Spanish with Rebecca and Pete.
No, this is English with Pete and Rebecca. And today I think we've got a really interesting episode ready, haven't we?
We have. Inspired by what?
You.
Me. Because I'm very inspirational.
Tenemos un episodio hoy súper interesante, creo que para todos, y nuestra inspiración ha sido Peter.
Yeah.
And why is that?
Because I've just had an operation.
Operation or surgery, cirugía, operación.
On my uter.
Okay, well, this is nose, alright, everybody knows. Se ha operado la nariz, pero no estéticamente, okay?
Yeah.
They're all going to think now you've had a nose job.
Well, my wife is telling people about a nose job, and people keep saying to me, oh, your nose doesn't look any different.
No,
No,
no.
because I've had surgery on the inside.
Okay, nose job, una operación estética de la nariz. La nariz de Peter es la misma de siempre. No ha sido una operación estética. It's internal. Okay.
I've actually got it written down in some Spanish somewhere. Sound effects.
Sound effects.
Sound effects. There you go. And it says
What
here
have you had?
that I
Let's see.
had, apparently insuficiencia respiratoria nasal di perfil
Yeah, but
retenante.
where's the exploración
Oh, right.
física? Here we are. Lavado nasal, that's what you've got to do.
Yes, what I've got to do. I've got it on another piece. This is very exciting, isn't it,
Dysmorphia
listener?
septal, that's what he had.
Yes.
Dysmorphia, so he had a weird nose.
And polypus taken out. So yes. In English, it's a deviated septum. So do I sound a lot better?
I think he sounds the same, to be honest.
Well,
But
apparently I don't sound like I've got a thing down my nose.
no. So yes, esa es la inspiración de hoy, la operación interna de la nariz de Peter.
Yeah.
So yes, we're talking about healthcare, la salud, la atención del salud, servicio de salud, and all related to that. So we'll try not to make it morbid.
No, don't be morbid.
It's not really morbid. No va a ser de pena ni
It's not about death.
No.
It's just about extending life.
How philosophical. So, okay, where shall we start, Peter?
Let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start.
Damn, I forgot the next line.
Start at the very beginning.
A very good place to
to
start.
start.
When you read, you begin with A, B, C. When you sing with
Do, re, mi.
Do, Re, Mi. Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do.
Okay, so we're 3 minutes in, and it was me starting with a song
You
today.
did, yes.
You didn't.
No,
It
I
was
didn't.
me.
Yes, because I'm now triggered by it.
But,
Nothing.
okay.
So, so my journey, my operation started me going to see the doctor.
Okay, so see a doctor, doctor's appointment. This word is really important. From B1 level plus, okay? So from B1 level and above, you need to know that appointment is cita, not a romantic one. Remember, people, can we say names of programs or television programs?
Yeah, why not?
First dates, okay? First dates, that is romantic, okay? Appointment, not at all romantic.
Isn't it a cita previa?
An appointment, yeah, okay.
It's
cita previa.
when you use a cita previa to differentiate, sorry, B2 students, a very difficult word, to explain the difference between a cita romantica or a cita previa.
Or cita médica,
Cita medica.
so a medical appointment. No?
There's-
A
and
doctor
there's
appointment.
and here's another thing that I learned last week.
Go on then.
Médico de carrera. Carrera.
Cabecera.
Cabecera. So a cabecera is what in English?
It's your GP.
No, I know, but cabecera
It's your headboard. The headboard.
is your headboard.
I never thought of it like that. Okay, let me clarify. Cabecero o cabecera es de la cama, ¿no? Donde se apoya la cabeza cuando estás en la cama leyendo, por ejemplo. That is headboard. Board, tablero, tablón. Okay, so headboard.
But your GP, your general practitioner, or your doctor, your medico,
General practitioner. I'll put all this in the notes of the podcast.
in Spanish is a médico de
Cabecera.
cabecera. So it's the headboard doctor.
Meaning your main doctor, no?
That's another one for the English, the Spanish with English.
Yeah, we'll include that in the next episode. So yeah, you went to see the doctor and you were You were suffering. You were complaining.
I have always had a problem with my nose, with my sinuses.
Sinuses, los sinus, no? Los sinuses. I don't know. I know sinusitis. I know how to say that.
Yes, I used to get sinusitis.
I used to get sinusitis. No, in English we say sinusitis. I suffer from that quite often.
So they sent me to a specialist,
Un especialista.
who put a camera up my nose.
How uncomfortable.
It was okay.
Quite small.
Yeah.
So you saw an
Yes, because I've got a
ophthalmologist?
very pretty small nose.
You saw an ophthalmologist?
Yes, whatever that is.
It's
That's something
the
for your eyes, isn't it?
nose, Mouth.
Ear, nose, and throat.
That's it. Ear, nose, and throat
Usually shortened to
Doctor.
ENT.
specialist.
Yeah.
Ear,
Nose,
nose, and
throat,
throat
yeah.
specialist.
Because it's all connected.
The ophthalmologist.
It's todo conectado.
Very good.
It's all connected in your head, all your tubes.
So he did an examination, so an exploración médica.
Yeah, and they gave me some nasal spray and some the spray of seawater.
Saltwater, no?
Yeah,
So-
saline.
So we say that when a doctor recommends or he gives you medication, we say that they prescribe. So this would be recetar.
Yeah,
And when they...
this is not a
when they-
receta like you get in a book.
Exactly. So one thing is what you cook, which would be una receta de cocina. In English it is
Recipe.
recipe.
Like a recipe for making love.
Okay, second song. And what a doctor gives you is a prescription.
Yes, that.
Prescription.
Prescription.
Una receta médica.
Sorry, I've had my head buried in other things. But yes, prescription.
Prescription.
I've had lots of prescriptions the
Okay.
last week or so. And then after 6 months I went back and they said, right, well, we can operate on that.
Okay.
Which was news to me because I've had a problem with my sinuses since the age of 6.
So that's a long time.
Yeah, especially since I'm 59
Oh,
now.
wow, you shared that information. I didn't think you would.
Yeah, I'm 59. Well, I am in 2025. If you're listening in 2035 and that
Curious,
asteroid
I never
hasn't
say
hit us.
2025.
What do you say?
2025.
Oh, I say 2025.
2020.
Whatever.
That's American, and you're not really into Americanisms, so I'm surprised.
Oh, well, I'm sitting in a fridge at the moment, so.
Are you cold? Are you?
So they said that I can have surgery, which was news to me because I have had problems with my sinuses since I was a child. So last week I went to a hospital and went through the surgery situation of having my nose worked on.
Lovely.
Which kind of inspired, when Rebecca phoned me this morning and said, Peter, we haven't thought of a subject for today.
I do not talk like that.
Yes, you do. She's like, if you watch Downton Abbey, Rebecca is every woman in Downton Abbey that isn't a servant.
But just to clarify, I do not look, dress, or act like any of those people.
Yes, she does.
I do not.
Yes, she does.
Oh, good God.
Apart from Maggie Smith.
I don't even know who Maggie Smith is.
Well, she's the very old one that's very funny.
Okay. I'm not funny.
Well,
Anyway, just keep on track.
so with that kind of, I said, well, that's something that's very recent, and as we've already spoken about, we're going to be doing a Spanish podcast. We will learn
It's Spanish with Rebecca and Pete.
Yes, though Keith has suggested that we should keep it as Spanish with Pete and Rebecca and English with Pete and Rebecca
Confusing.
to stop me getting confused. And also, apparently, we've built a product. Don't know what that means.
Anyway,
We have T-shirts and everything. So, what?
that's a great idea.
It is a great
I think
idea.
we should still get t-shirts.
We should so get T-shirts.
Perdón, que nos estamos yendo por las ramas un poco, que según Peter
You
tenemos
laughed
ya...
so loud that it went into the red.
I'm sorry. Que según Peter ya tenemos nosotros que llevamos tanto tiempo ya con estos podcasts y tenemos tantos seguidores que hemos creado una marca y que debemos hacernos camisetas. ¿Estáis de acuerdo? Porque yo sí. Camisetas sí o sí.
See or see?
Sí o sí.
So, so I thought, well, it would be very helpful because some of our podcast episodes are real life things, aren't they?
And actually, the ones that have been based on social situations are the most popular ones. So that says a lot.
So we spend all that time preparing grammar, special grammar ones.
When you don't like them,
you don't want them.
No, it's
So,
quite clear.
you know.
Anyway, going back to you, one thing that I wanted to mention, what do you call the place where you go in to have an operation?
The operating room.
It's called something else.
What do you call it then?
Theatre.
Yes, it is. The operating theatre.
1 point.
Why do I call it operating room?
I don't know. Operating
All right.
theatre.
Where did you go before you go in the operating theatre?
I don't know.
Pre-op.
Pre-op, yeah, of course you did.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-op. So now, operating theatre, teatro, okay.
That has the
so
machine that goes bing.
Operating theatre is teatro. Is
Is it not
sala de operación? No, what do they
It
call
is
it?
a sala.
But is it sala de operaciones? No, it's la sala de cirugía. Ah, maybe you can help me with this one. El sitio donde se hace la cirugía. I did not. I do know this, but I've forgotten and I didn't check it.
Oh,
so
no.
Please accept my apologies. It's just remember that in English it's operating theatre. Okay. Operating theatre.
So I think what we should do is let's go from the beginning of me going into the hospital to me leaving,
Okay.
and then any difficult vocabulary we'll look at. Okay.
I also, just to make sure we do include the false friends regarding this topic. 'cause
Oh, I've got
they're
lots of those.
So we'll leave them.
One
for
of
the
them's
end.
name's Terry.
Not those type of false friends.
Okay.
Okay, so you are arriving at the hospital
I am, yes.
and you're parking your car.
Well, my wife did.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Because prior
That was
to,
stressful in itself.
Prior to the
He
operation,
can't drive.
prior to the operation,
Yeah.
well, before that, you had to go in for your pre-op test.
Well, I had to go to the hospital in Malaga, and I had to see a specialist who then gave me my cita, my date for my operation, and then I had to have tests to just to ensure that I'm okay for anesthesia. Anesthesia, general anesthetic, because there's two types of anesthetic, isn't there?
Yeah, there's local and general.
Yeah. Do you want to explain the difference?
No, you can do that.
Okay, so local anesthetic is when they just numb.
You're awake. Numb. Great word, Peter.
Thank you very much.
Numb. This is N-U-M-B. The B is silent, okay?
Yeah.
Numb.
And this
it
is the
means-
space between Rebecca's ears.
How rude! Okay, numb is dormido, adormecido, okay?
Yeah. So that's if you're having something done to your finger or your toe, or it's nothing major and they can do it without
Putting you to sleep, no? So
Yeah.
you are awake.
So a general anesthetic is when you go to sleep.
Anestesia general y anestesia local. Estamos contrastando los dos.
So I had to have a couple of tests and weighed me and measured me and find out if I have any allergies to any drugs.
So le hicieron pruebas, esos tests, ¿no? Son pruebas médicas. Donde le pesaron, what did they do? They weighed you?
So,
They...
I went
Measured
to the gym and they have one of those weighing machines that weighs you and measures the height. And
Oh,
all
right,
that.
okay.
So I took that with me, which
Okay.
he said was very helpful.
Okay.
So I would recommend you do that. So we did that, and then I'm told I can't eat or drink anything for 12 hours
Okay,
before.
so fasting. Fasting sería estar en ayunas o ayunar. Y eso es lo que tuvo que hacer él 12 hours before. 12 horas antes de la operación.
Yeah. So then I had to go to the hospital, and this is I'm going to use this as our example. Lots of hospitals are different. They're probably because we have listeners in Colombia, we have listeners in Brazil, we have listeners in
All over the world.
all over the world. So
Slovakia, hello, Sona.
Sona.
Sonia.
Hello, Sona. Hello, Sona. Hello. And so in the hospital I went to, I had to go to reception and register that I was there. So they took my details, my information, my medical card, which we have here in Spain, which is where you get all your information on, and then they gave me a number.
Entonces, cuando él llegó al hospital, yo no sería registrarse, ¿no? No sería tampoco hacer el check-in, digamos. Él se tuvo que verificar y confirmar su asistencia en el hospital.
And then I had to sit and wait. And
Wait
then,
a long time.
well, I didn't really wait it because my appointment was at 3 p.m. We got there early
Naturally.
because we're English.
Yes. The English are famous for arriving early.
Yes. And so we sat for about 20 minutes. And it seemed as if that 3 o'clock was one of the surgery times. Because before, I think I had the appointment that was cancelled was at 11 o'clock in the morning and then 3 o'clock. So they obviously do two sittings.
Sittings are usually for
Restaurants.
meals, for restaurants, and maybe the theatre as well, no?
No, that's performances.
No, there's another word for it.
Matinees.
Matinees, that's it.
That's
you.
if they perform in the afternoon. And then they called us through to another waiting room.
Oh my goodness. Otra sala de espera.
Which was really not very nice.
Oh.
It was quite. Well, no, it was just sitting
Basic.
there. And you that's when your nerves start. You start getting nervous. So then I was called into a small room where I had to remove all my clothes.
And all metal.
Sorry.
All articles of metal, or like jewellery
Yes.
and
Yeah.
whatnot.
And then they told me to put my clothes back on because I was actually in the toilet. No. No joke. I had to take all my clothes off, and they put me in a gown.
Gown, una bata.
And a strange thing on my head, a hat,
Una cosa rara en la cabeza.
and some bags for my feet.
Los botines esos, los
Yeah.
patucos, I think they're called. Patucos.
And then I had to put it with my putukus, and then I had to put my clothes in a bag, which my wife then took away. And I thought, I'll never see them again. And then a nice man called Pablo, because he was talking to me in English, and he was practicing his English, which was good, and I helped him correct his English. And
Well,
in my
can't take the teacher out of a man.
in my pitucos, I made sure that my wife had done up my gown,
Behind, so you didn't show your bum.
so my bum did. I do have a very nice bum. And
Voy a clarificar eso un poco, que le pidió a la mujer que le apretara bien la bata por detrás para no revelar las partes del cuerpo.
or your culo. So then I had to walk to what they call another room called pre-op, where they put a drip in my hand.
Okay, so el de juego acudió a la sala preoperatoria, maybe was it called that? Sala preoperatoria?
Yeah.
And drip would be la vía. Le metieron la vía.
Gota.
Gota is drop, okay? Drop. He does that so well. Okay, so that's a drop, and drip is related.
And
to
look at my
drop.
hand, look. I've got a moraton.
Moradon.
That's one of those as well. I've got both of them.
Got a bruise.
Got massive. That's actually gone down.
BRUISE, a bruise. And gone down, so before it was swollen.
Yeah.
Swollen, or to swell, is hincharse.
Yeah.
Hinchado, swollen.
Which in some things is a good name. So I sat in and he said, I'm going to insert a drip, and
La vía.
you're going to have some amoxicillin.
That's antibiotic.
That's like an antibiotic.
Antibiotic, that's right.
And that's when I passed out.
Pass out, desmayarse. We can also say faint. But
Yeah.
you
I think
can-
I fainted. Fainted or passed out. Doesn't matter, does it?
I think
What's the
faint,
difference? There's no
faint
difference.
is that you feel the sensation that you're going to go, and then pass out is it's like blackout, isn't it? You're completely unconscious.
I don't know, because I'm unconscious.
I've never known the line between faint and pass out. Okay,
the
so
same. Sure,
desmayarse.
it's the same thing, isn't it?
Desmayarse. I don't know. I thought faint was lighter than pass out. I thought that pass out was more severe.
I don't know.
No, I'm not sure either.
I don't know. But I put it down to not drinking and eating anything for 12 hours.
Culpa al ayuno de la razón por lo que se desmayó.
And when I came to,
Come to is volver a incorporarse, volver a despertarse, ¿no? Come
Yeah.
to.
there was 3 nurses holding me down.
Hold down, que lo tenían amarrado, lo tenían
And asking me if I was all right. And of course, in a typical English fashion, I apologised. I'm very sorry.
I always apologise when I pass out.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry.
I always say
And
sorry.
they're like, it's okay. Well, then, you sure? It's okay. So then, after the amoxicillin had gone in, they took me into the operating theatre.
Operating theatre, la sala de cirugía.
We think it's a salon.
We think it's a sala.
And then I walked in, and they laid me down on the table,
The operating
table.
table. Yeah, it's a
Operating
table.
table.
It's a table. It's actually a bed if you look at it. But
I wouldn't like to sleep on it.
but originally they used to operate on metal tables, so that's where it comes from.
They were a bit chilly.
Yeah.
But it's very nice, very comfortable.
So it's
And
just a bed.
there was the thing I remember, which is really strange, is at the foot of the bed
Al pie de la cama.
was a warm air fan.
No way, so your feet don't get
So
cold.
my feet didn't get cold. I was like, that's
Tenían
really
un
nice.
ventilador de
And
aire
they said-
caliente en el pie de la cama.
And they said, is it too hot? I was like, no, that's really nice. So
The anesthetist.
so they stuck these sensors onto me.
No, le pusieron los sensores para controlarles, ¿no? Los niveles y tal, el ritmo cardíaco y tal.
One of which I found 3 days later still stuck to me.
No.
Because I didn't know it was there.
Que encontró de 3 días después que uno seguía pegado. Oh.
And I did have a shower every day. But they were trying to move me and they were saying something to me and I didn't know what they meant. And because obviously they got masks on, mascarillas, so I couldn't really hear them very clearly. And it turned out they were asking me to move my bottom, so I could lift my bottom so they could pull something out from underneath me.
So we've been trying to guess what they were saying in Spanish, and I was like, well, maybe it was muévete, levanta el trasero, eleva, I don't know, and we haven't, he can't remember what the wording was or understood. Or they were talking in English and he didn't catch their accent. Which could be.
So I said, oh, mi culo.
No, you said mi pompi.
Well, I said culo first. No, I said Pompey first, yes. I did.
Pompey.
Me Pompey, because obviously I'm a teacher of children, so I know the word. Because I said to
It's
my...
pompis, actually.
Because that was another thing. When I said to my wife, said to Karen, okay, doesn't listen.
My mum doesn't either.
Shit, I said to Kaz, I said, what if I need to go to the toilet after I've had the operation? She said, well, just say I want to go to the toilet. I said, yeah, but I only know to say, quiero pipi.
You don't know how to say, puedo ir al baño?
No, I didn't know to say, por el baño. Oh, now I do that, because Kaz told me. I said, well, I just know teachers, quiero pipi.
Because he teaches infants.
Because I
that's
teach
why.
children, so I was like, and they laughed when I said Pompey, and they said, how do you know Pompey? And I said, because I teach babies, teach children. And I said, but you could have said culo. And they just laughed and laughed and laughed. They said, oh, you mean ass? I went, no, ass is American, arse is English. So even as I'm about to be knocked out for an operation, I'm still
The teacher's there.
bingo. So then they put then they put the machine that goes bing on me, and that measures your heart. So that was so I could hear that before I went to sleep. And the part that I was most nervous about was going to sleep. And then they said, we're going to put a mask on you, and you're just going to breathe. No, I didn't do that. They just said, just breathe, and you're going to go to sleep. And then the next thing I know, they're waking me up with 2 large sausages stuck up my nose.
Oh yeah, uncomfortable.
Dressing. I was. Then they said everything's okay, and then they put me onto a trolley.
Un carrito,
Yeah, it's a carrito.
es una camilla con rueda.
Yeah. So they then wheeled me to
Wheel es llevar, pero con la rueda nosotros decimos wheel.
what she said, and they took me to resus.
O rodar. Resuscitation. La sala de resucitación.
Yeah.
La sala de despertar, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
Sala de despertar. Resus room.
So they took me there. I had a little glass of water, a little snooze.
Snooze, dormí un poquito.
Yeah, a little snooze.
Echó una cabecilla.
Very nice lady, making sure I was okay. Brought me a glass of water, which was nice. And then they made me get up and have a walk around and then sit down to make sure I was okay to go home. And then they gave me back to the arms of my ever loving, sympathetic wife.
I don't know if you know the sarcasm. No sé si se nota ese sarcasmo que estaba diciendo Peter.
Yeah. So that was my day.
And then when did you have to go back for a checkup? Una revisión.
Well, I had 4 days, 5. So from this was Wednesday. So today's Friday. So it was a week and a half ago. So I had Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday of recuperation, sitting still, not being able to move.
Sitting still, estar quieto.
And then Monday they removed the dressings.
Dressings.
Or wadding.
Dressings or wadding would be the...
I really don't... He said they were similar.
Binders,
I don't know if we can say this, but he said they were very similar to tampons.
Okay.
what you took from my
I
nose.
wouldn't, yeah, it has the same function, doesn't it? It absorbs.
Yeah,
Blood or
so if
liquid.
you imagine a salchicha, a sausage of lana, of wool, cotton wool, but very
Algodón.
algodon. That's cotton.
Yeah, algodón.
Yes.
Because they were algodón.
Algodon de lana.
It's cotton wool, isn't it? Cotton.
Cotton wool.
Algodón.
So why do we say cotton?
I have no idea. It's algodón,
Well, in English we have cotton wool.
which makes it confusing.
Yes.
Because it's just cotton.
Yeah. And some people, did you know some people have a fear of cotton wool?
Why?
They do, seriously.
Why?
Some people have a real phobia of cotton wool. You'd laugh, it's true.
I have to
People
Google
have
that.
yeah, Google it. You know, like, so you get a big, I don't know if do they do it in Spain? Big bags of
Yeah,
cotton
yeah,
wool.
yeah, yeah.
So the big bag of cotton wool, which is algodon here, right?
Algodón.
If you pull it, it makes that crunchy sort of feeling, doesn't it? People have a fear of it.
Oh my goodness.
It makes them all,
Agitated.
yeah.
Qué curioso,
That was
tenía
a little
fobia del algodón.
That was a little sidebar.
It was.
Just to make Rebecca feel at home. And so he removed these things, which were the size of 2 small salchichas.
Entonces le extrayeron, le sacaron esos especies de algodón tipo forma de tapón que le habían colocado.
Yeah, so he took those dressings out, and I now haven't got to go back to.
But your stitches.
I've got stitches, but they
Tiene
dissolve.
puntos, stitches.
Are they puntos or are they sutures?
Pardon?
What's the difference between a suture?
What's a suture?
That's what they've called it.
Suture?
You've got
What's a
sutures.
suture?
Sutures. Sutura septal.
Sultura.
Sutura, which is a suture.
Sultura.
Sultura.
There would be puntos. Puntos. And they're saying that they decompose. I don't need to look.
Okay.
So puntos or grapas, that's what they use here. They use staples or they use stitches.
Well, these are
don't
stitches because they're
Stitches.
dissolving stitches, but I can feel them when I squinch my nose up.
they? Dice que los notas cuando mueve la nariz. Not nice, not nice.
Yeah. So I have a revisa. Is it a revisa?
Revisión.
A revision
A checkup.
in a couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. Very nice.
When I say a couple of weeks, what is that in Spanish?
Un par de semanas. Una
Par de
quincena.
semana, más o menos.
Un par de semanas. Un par de semanas.
Yeah.
So that's Peter's story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
That's
that.
okay.
We've so just to finish this episode, like I said, we were going to look at were the false friends. No?
Yeah.
We've already seen one, which was prescription.
Prescription, yes, which is a receta in Spanish.
It is a receta, but receta is also a recipe. So don't confuse, like we said before, don't confuse those
And
two.
people say it's only English that have the same word for 2 different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another one, which is quite fun,
What's that?
constipated.
Constipado.
But it's different.
Why?
Constipado means you have a blocked nose.
Yeah, and if you're constipated, you have a blocked bum.
Yeah. Constipado. So, sorry.
Bum is another word for Pompey.
It is. But shush. Constipated. Okay, the English word constipated is estreñido. Estreñido. So it's a little bit different. I mean, the concept's there. There's a blockage.
Oh,
Hay bloqueo, de alguna forma. And constipado is, a blocked nose.
yeah, which I used to have a lot.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping now I won't have much anymore.
We shall see.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 others which are slightly related, but not completely, being sensible and sympathetic. So sympathetic was your wife.
Simpatico.
No, false friend. Sympathetic was your wife when you came out of the hospital.
Yeah.
Okay, sentías empatía. Empático would be sympathetic. Okay, empático.
Em-
Empático.
So empathetic.
Empathetic come from empathy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So empático would be sympathetic. Don't get confused with these people. Okay.
Don't get confused with these people.
And simpático is nice, friendly, kind.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So that one's pretty clear. Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have sensible.
Sensibilidad. That's sensitive, isn't it, in Spanish?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
sensible is not sensible in Spanish. Sensible is sensitive. So confusing. So cuando algo está sensible, que te duele un poco, así que no, y no me toques, ¿no? It's sensible. Sorry. Sensitive. I'm confusing you. So it's sensible in English, sensitive. What was the other one?
So sensible
Sensible, thank you.
in English is what in Spanish?
Sensato.
Sensato. Sympathetic in English is what in Spanish?
Empático.
Okay. And what was the last one? that you just completely confused everybody with?
Sensitive.
Sensitive in English is what in Spanish?
Sensible.
Sensible.
Does that make sense, everyone? I will put it in the notes anyhow.
You will put it in right because sensible sounds like sensible,
Yeah, and it's a common mistake.
which is I am sensible.
Yeah, more like
So what's sensible in Spanish?
sensible, sensato.
Okay, there you go.
Someone estable mentalmente.
So
Someone
the confusion.
responsable.
So the confusion is
that they're written.
sensato sounds like sensation.
Okay.
So you have a sensation. So a sensation is like a strange feeling. Yeah, like when I passed out,
You had the sensation.
I had the
of passing out.
sensation of passing out. So it's like a feeling, because it sounds like it's a false friend.
And they're written very similar.
Simpatico sounds like sympathetic, but it
It's not,
doesn't. It
no.
means you are.
Empático.
There you go.
Okay.
Clear as mud.
I think that kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
Sums it up. Eso lo resume todo. So this is that. I think that's all from me.
Is it?
Is it all from you?
That's what I don't know. You tell me. You're in charge.
Am I?
Oh no.
Oh, didn't know that.
No, you didn't.
Well, we will be tuning in soon for more.
Will we? Or will they? Who will be tuning in, Rebecca?
Well, we'll be providing more excellent material very soon.
Yes, and we understand that there were some sound issues with the last couple of pods, and we are plans are afoot to change
Well,
that.
we've invested in some new
Equipment.
Yes, we'll let you know. We'll let you know.
I've
when we
invested
have
in
it.
a new nose for a start.
Yes, and we've got some new material on the way.
We have, and don't forget, if you're learning Spanish,
Tune in with Spanish with Pete and Rebecca.
Yeah.
Because we've got to keep it the same.
yeah, we have Spanish with Pete and Rebecca.
Which will be launching very, very soon. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So do all the usual stuff.
Yep. Share, like, repeat, comment.
Subscribe. Please comment.
Yes, please do.
And even if you don't comment, just give us a decent review, because it helps.
You can do that on Spotify itself or on Amazon Music. We're on both. And you can always contact us through Instagram as well. We have an Instagram account. Or that's it. We have an
Have
Instagram
we
account.
got TikTok?
No, we haven't got TikTok. No.
Good.
No, no,
Good.
TikTok. I have a TikTok, but you don't.
I don't.
No, I tell you.
No. Are we on Blue Sky?
And what?
Blue Sky.
What's Blue Sky?
That's the thing that's not Twitter.
Oh, okay. No, that's X. Anyway, very confusing.
I avoid Twitter because it annoys the right people.
We're not on Twitter. It's not Twitter anymore. It's X.
It's Twitter.
X.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Maybe
all.
we should
That's
do
all
a
from
Blue
you.
Sky. Maybe we should do a Blue Sky one.
We'll discuss that.
Yeah.
We'll discuss that.
And keep your eye out now for merch.
Yes, we've got a new project in the procedure. No, and
Have we in the it's basically in
In-hand,
planning, because
yes.
we only mentioned it 25 minutes ago.
we've got a new idea coming up, so we'll let you know how that works.
Yeah. So from her, Rebecca,
And from him, Pete,
we will see you soon for another episode of
English with Pete and Rebecca.
Bye. Hasta luego.
Ciao.
Bye.
This podcast was English with Pete and Rebecca, the podcast that takes you through B1 and B2 Plus, helps you with any of your English studies.